grateful. My dirty young man, he's a plateful. He's so smart. So
Welcome to Las Películas Sábados Gigantes at the Cinemarijuana Theatre. That's right, the shitlords of cinematic scrutiny here to digest another one and offer you our leavings. Yeah.
I like how the intro gets more scatological every week.
I'm trying to actually get out of that.
You're digging yourself even deeper.
I know. And what I keep meaning to do is like sit down like one day and write some hip shit, some hip cool shit to say, but I keep not having that time. So one of these days, and especially at the end, I'll have some like hip, like the plot doesn't matter or some shit for the end.
Insert cool hip shit here.
Yeah, one of those things. So, anyways, yes, this is Filmstain.com presents Las Películas Sábados Gigantes at the Cinemarijuana Theatre. I'm Ed.
I'm Kenzie.
I'm John.
I'm Chris.
And we are here today to talk about, from 2006, right?
Yep.
Another gay movie.
The gayest movie of all time.
It could be. Another gay movie from 2006 is what we are here to discuss today. This was Kenzie's selection.
You're welcome.
Yes. We'll talk about how grateful we all are to you shortly, I'm sure. But in the meantime, I guess before we do anything else,
Underberg.
You called it.
Yeah, it's time to grease the wheels with a little blast to Underberg.
Yeah, the Underberg reminded me of Undercarriage, which certainly
seems fitting.
All of the characters in this film we're certainly interested in.
Did you see that picture I tagged you in on Facebook of the Underberg lights?
Yes, I did, and they were super cool.
We should add that to this area.
We should.
Podcast
We
area.
could totally could. We could totally save the bottles.
Someone put in like little tea lights into the top of the cans and hung them,
Oh,
and
you
so
could
the
just-
bottles like
Yeah,
glow.
light up. You
Yeah.
could plug it right into the bottle. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
We should totally do it because we could just string them up. We could just rinse and save the under bottles, and
Under bottles.
you know what I'm saying. So, anyways,
Cheers to
cheers to the gay community.
another
Yeah.
gay
Hey,
Underberg.
hey, you know what's
Yeah.
funny? Isn't it Pride this weekend?
I think
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It
So,
is,
hey,
as a matter of fact. So, hey, how
Happy
How
Pride.
fitting that we're doing
What
another
a
gay movie for Pride.
Yes.
appropriate time
All right. Well,
selection.
this Underberg is to the gay community. Happy Pride.
Cheers.
Cheers for queers.
You know,
Right?
coffee actually does go really well with it, John.
Yeah, it's a good blend. I find coffee and
an
Underberg.
apple bite. You should get an apple bite for that part too.
Oh man, I definitely need that.
Yeah,
Actually,
we need more
apple
burps
bites.
and apple bites on this
Burps,
podcast.
apple bites,
Wow.
and
I had those in my
juggles,
snack shack
juggles,
spot.
juggles.
Burps. So I actually forgot to put the apple bites, but I did have burps. But I could have burps and apple bites for this. If we ate more on the podcast, I think.
It's probably for the best that we don't.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more there. But if we did, I certainly would. I certainly would probably make that. Make sure. Yes, well, that means it's working. If you can smell the underburps from across the table, you know it's doing its thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing its thing. Actually, since we were just talking about it, I do have somewhere here. I've got a fucking. Where the hell did it go?
Oh.
An Underberg jingle.
Never mind.
I've got to remind Mima to save me her Underberg caps.
Yes.
My grandma drinks Underberg, which is a strange
It was
coincidence.
fascinating to discover this.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Incredibly cool. All right, so we need a synopsis of this, or do we want seeds and stems
Synopsis
first?
comes first.
All right.
Okay. So this is a sweet, touching story about 4 teenage boys who are in high school who are also gay. And it's basically the gay version of American Pie. Their life mission is...
American Guy.
Yeah, it's American Guy. Their life mission is to get laid, lose their virginities, etc. So one of the guys has a crush on his teacher, who's this like crazy German sex guy.
Played by Jonathan Ross.
He has big nipples. And another guy...
Yeah.
it was Graham
I'm
Norton,
sorry.
right?
Graham Norton. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, not Jonathan Ross. Yeah, it was Graham Norton.
Graham Norton.
Yes.
And then another guy has a crush on like any like older, rich gay guy. So Richard Hatch is one of his love interests at one point.
the
And that's the one from Survivor, not the
From
one from Battlestar
Survivor.
Galactica.
Yeah.
Yes. Unfortunately for us.
And you get to see Richard Hatch's dick in this.
Finally.
Fully.
Those of you that remember the first season of Survivor know we waited with bated breath
Yeah.
through every single fucking episode for an unpixelated shot
And it
of his
never
Jennies.
came.
Baba booey.
Neither did they.
Darn. Okay. And the last two boys are kind of in this weird flirty relationship, friendship where they both kind of you think they have a crush on each other, but neither of them are willing to admit it or confront it, I guess. And so they're dealing with that, but they also have these side pieces sort of that they're trying to get with. And they make a pact to lose their virginities by the end of summer. So that's what the movie is about.
All right.
It's great.
Never
There
get
you
the
have it.
feels for your side piece.
Never.
No.
That's like
Side
crossing
piece
the
is one
streams.
thing, but
All right, John. Well, as I put this in your hand, why don't you give us the seeds and stems?
He
on the
put
film.
a seed and stem in John's hand.
I did.
For
I
our
put one
listeners.
seed and one stem.
Yes. My
All right.
favorite.
Yeah, from 2006, another gay movie, directed by Todd Stevens, story by Tim Kalternecker, and the screenplay written by Todd Stevens and others, starring Michael Carbonara, Jonathan Chase, and Jonah Blackman.
Who's the other one?
That was the one. Oh yeah, hang on.
And who was the lesbian?
And Mitch
Fleur.
Mitch Morris.
Mitch Morris was the nerdy looking one.
Yeah,
right?
and the lesbian was Ashley Atkinson.
Okay.
Their buddy, their butch buddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, as you said, Graham Norton, and also Scott Thompson, of
Yes,
course, as
yeah.
a hilarious role
great.
as the main kid's dad.
Almost playing what's his name? What is it? Danny
Husk.
Husk is the
Yeah,
character
he
that
played
he
a lot
does.
of Kids in the Hall, a sort of closeted character, the typical mustachioed suburban dad who maybe has a little
Yeah.
curiosity
Yeah.
in his closet.
Yeah, that was that was well. We'll talk about how welcome that was or wasn't when we get there. Okay, yeah. So I guess we should 3 minutes, 3 words about this thing, right?
Yeah, starting with Kenzie since it
Yep.
was her pick. 3 minutes, 3 words, go.
Well, okay. I wanted to pick this movie because I thought it would either be very upsetting to people or they'd love it. And so actually,
You wanted to move people.
yeah.
You wanted your art
yeah.
to provoke.
At least give me something.
Understandably.
So Ed is the one who actually kind of pushed me over the line because I wasn't sure because I didn't want it to be a total flop. But then he's like, no, dude, that's perfect and edgy. And so
Yeah,
It was edgy.
That was my actual word. I said edgy.
this was months and months ago, though. This was way before this theme even started.
It was her suggestion initially.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and so I saw this movie in high school. I had this weird thing where gay guys were totally hot to me. I think a lot of girls go through that though.
You're probably I've heard of that kind of thing before.
Yeah,
Little backwards.
I think teenage girls are really into the idea, especially my age where you grew up listening to Fall Out Boy and all of them are wearing eyeliner and stuff, so you're into that, and then they're kissing each other on stage.
I wonder if the same goes for those of us that grew up listening to Duran Duran.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Kaja
about that.
Goo Goo.
Fall Out Boy's not the first band to wear makeup.
No, I'm a huge Adam Ant fan.
Yeah.
And
We're never
many
kissing each
many
other.
question my sexuality as a youth, as a little boy,
Yeah.
with me being such a huge fan.
So I ended up renting it from Blockbuster and just totally loved it. So that was back in probably 2006, probably. So this was the first time seeing it since then, and I loved it this time, maybe even more than the first time because I'm a little older and get some more jokes better than I did. But I think it's hilarious. I love all the characters. It's one of those movies where I actually care about the characters, even though the story is so stupid. So yeah, I just love this movie, and I think everyone should watch it with an open mind.
All right, your 3 words.
Okay, another great movie.
There we go.
Garrett.
Should have thought of that one.
Very good,
Before
very
it's now.
clever.
All right, John, how did you feel about this movie?
Well, I'll tell you. And it won't be in song. This
Damn it. All right.
this movie was very gay, but it was very funny. It's funny that we did this as a follow-up to I Love You, Philip Morris, because while
Yeah.
I Love You, Philip Morris felt like a movie about gay people made by straight people, this feels like a movie about gay people made by gay people. I mean, it's funny because they almost we just did The Wizard, and we talked about how The Wizard is almost like these people exist in some kind of fictional video game universe where no matter which business you go into, there's arcade games everybody plays.
And competitively.
Right, and it's like another game that takes place in this weird, like, bent world where, like, pretty much 99% of the population is gay.
Everyone.
Like, pretty much every single person's gay. Like, the one dude is gonna, like, he's trying to have sex with that one guy who's, like, all ripped up, he has a heart attack because he's juicing, and the two paramedics come in to save him, and then they're gay too. And, like, no matter who you run into is gay. There's, like, 1.5 straight people in this movie tops, and the half is Scott Thompson.
Okay.
But at least a lot of humor because they kind of managed to put their own spin on all reality because the entire world is seen through this gay lens, and they don't have to put any kind of realistic. They don't deal with any real issues.
Yeah.
I mean, no, nothing gets serious or.
It's very silly.
Yeah, or
That's
dry.
kind of fun, though.
It's just fun the whole time. It's just fun and it's
How
silly.
many gay movies or how many movies about gay people are about sort of adversity?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is like this was adversity, but not.
The only adversity was really just trying to find which gay guy was going to have sex with you because
Yeah.
that was the problem they were running into.
And you know there actually are straight people in it because they all have their straight guy fantasies.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
like where it ends.
Right,
It's
like
just,
the only reason gay people exist in that universe is so they can lust after straight men as an alternate.
To be fetishized, just like the reverse world.
I love that part where the one guy goes, "Do you mind if I pretend you're a straight guy?"
It's really fun. I mean, just like Kenzie said, I mean, it's just they essentially just take the plot of American Pie and just flip flop it, make it gay.
Yeah.
They do throw in some jokes. There's jokes from other teen movies that I've seen. There was jokes from Revenge of the Nerds in there. There was jokes from pretty much all like the big hits that you can think of. It is a very, very gay movie in the sense that I could see some people having a hard time watching it because there's a lot of gay male sexuality, and if that offends you,
Oh yeah.
you get
could-
very close to
like
saying
I was like I
butthole.
said, this is basically the gayest a movie can be without being straight gay porno.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
this, like if this movie was any
It
gayer,
definitely went right up to that
right?
line.
It went
at least
as
to what it
went as
shows.
far as it could go without actually being
Yeah.
pornography. So if you are squeamish at all, and it's funny because this just streams instantly on Netflix, so it's not like it's
Well, we saw
hard to see,
that.
but
in Pink
Jesus.
Flamingos, we see asshole,
yeah, that's true.
and we didn't actually see
well,
asshole.
no, and
in
that's
this.
funny, too,
But
because-
we did see a guy jerking off.
Yeah, that's true. But it's weird to say that it's handled in the same sort of way that a teen sex comedy is. So
Yes.
it's almost cartoonish and not super realistic, if you
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So that's my time. So my 3 words are gayest movie ever.
Good one. And true.
It
All right.
really is.
Chris, I understand you turned gay after
Yeah,
watching this.
this movie was so gay and so funny. It made gay look so appealing that I turned gay. Hold on, let me hit this.
Wouldn't that be so hilarious if that actually happened to one of us? Like, no shit, no, I'm gay now, guys.
Could that just happen? I don't think it could. I don't think that's how it works. But yeah, this movie, wow, so gay. Holy shit, it's hilariously gay.
Yeah.
Like if you have any aversion to men kissing, any reference to gay sex, lesbianism, yeah, maybe still steer clear of this one. Although I don't know how the fuck you're listening to this podcast. It's hilarious. Man, it is. It really is. We literally watched guys sucking their own dicks. Just coincidentally,
my
at the
God, we
Cinemarijuana
totally did.
Theatre,
Oh, no
previous
shit, we
to this
totally did,
movie,
huh?
and
Jason
it was
Land.
not as gay as this movie
Yeah.
at all. Like it didn't even compare. So there's that. Yeah, this is gayer
Than men giving
gay
themselves
porn.
blowjobs.
Yeah.
Because in gay porn, they're just having sex. There's so many more things that resound of homosexuality than just the sex. So anyway, yeah, this movie is all of those things. It's basically, I loved it. First off, I had fun. I was laughing hysterically the entire time. It offends. It I don't know if it makes you care so much about their plight, but man, they're funny and the shit they do is hilarious. And hearing people talk about their buttholes like people do their vaginas or virgin dicks, I guess is pretty funny. Critiques I have of it, it's basically just American Pie. I mean, there's scene for scene. I guess that's how those movies work, like another scary movie or whatever.
It's
Yeah.
got that same kind of
It's that
spoof
same
vibe
kind of
when you
parody
see those
thing, right.
parody movies. Yeah, it's
Where
got
you
that
don't see-
that feel to it, like where it structurally apes one specific movie, but then they throw in stuff from other movies of the same genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it kind of adheres to one kind of
main
theme
plot,
overall. So
yeah.
it's basically American Pie with I'm sure we could.
Everyone's trying to lose their virginities. That's it.
That's what
Well, I
it
think
is.
that's pretty much the American teenage condition. You know what I mean? So I think it's speaking to something that a lot of people probably,
Yeah,
are
Everyone
like,
wants to have sex.
yeah.
that's definitely what it gives. Yeah, it definitely gives you a new perspective. Assuming you didn't have it previously on what it might be like to be a high school homosexual dude that's looking to get get out there in the world and achieve the things that you fantasize about, I guess.
Achieve
push your-
orgasm.
Push your
Yeah.
mushroom tip through some thick forests.
Ew.
Right, yeah. Double tip dip.
Well, you got 3 words on this one.
Okay. American Guy.
Oh, like American Pie, right? Those 2
Yeah.
words, American
No,
Guy. American.
maybe more like like
What about
a little
what
bit
about,
alarmed?
What about American guy?
Psh,
That's a
you're
word, right?
I'll put that.
There you go.
How are we going to put that in the text?
PSSHHH.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, P.
American Guy.
Okay.
that's a
American
word.
Guy.
There you go.
Gay.
Great.
All right, me to bring it home. Okay, yeah. So I'd seen this movie once before. It ran at our local art house, the venerated Ken Cinema, during its initial release. It played for a week, and we try to get down there as much as we can. And I knew that because the girl I was with at the time, I knew it would have a shock value seeing these guys do these things. So I thought, this will be a hoot. Watching this be like too much. But then the movie was actually really, really fun. So it because my dad, for example, he's an old man, and he doesn't necessarily surround himself with people who try to provide him with necessarily unique or different kind of experiences. So took him to see like Jackass or Borat. Take him to see shit that he doesn't normally see, Grindhouse. For that same reason, because art should provoke, and movies like that have so much kind of like shock value on the surface have a lot of power to sort of provoke an audience like that. But whereas with something like Jackass that is just pure shock, this movie actually has a tremendous amount of heart. So it wasn't good just because it makes people squirm in their seats and squeal. It's actually fun and very funny. It also is very sort of gross. I mean,
The guy sticks a hamster up his ass.
well, actually,
It's
well, no, it's
gross.
more like the anima stuff. Like really, like kind of shit is like my biggest
anima
turnoff. I got to
stuff.
imagine. So like any of that kind of stuff.
You're okay with
not
the
the gay.
hamster,
though. I guess that was funnier than it was gross.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, but it was all pretty funny.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like the gay stuff isn't gross to me inherently, but like
What about when he
taking,
almost
like,
gave
10
his
enemies.
dad a blowjob? Was that gross or funny?
it was funny.
Was it gross too?
Maybe it was only not gross because I couldn't put myself in that situation because I'm not gay.
That's the magic of the glory hole, I think.
Yeah.
That's why maybe I don't go to them. Well, one of the, I
It
think,
took
I
a
think one
girl
of the,
sticking her penis through.
yes,
Yeah, it could
it
be
absolutely
just
could.
Yeah.
But so I noticed that this film's got a pretty low score on IMDb and stuff, and I mean, all right, sure. I mean,
It's not Shakespeare
there's
exactly.
no shortcuts. You know what I mean? It ain't shortcuts. It ain't fucking.
Just
you,
like
you know
take
what I mean?
it for what it is and score it that way.
Yeah,
this
it
is
ain't
not
Birdman.
a 37%
You know?
movie if you look at what it is.
Well, the amount of fun that we had with it, because everybody here at the Cinemarijuana Theatre was rolling in the fucking aisles, and pretty much the whole time.
Yeah.
Everyone was totally on board with it, which made it more fun. And so, the power of shock value, is huge. And so having these things, there were these big explosive moments of laughter here that just made the thing totally fun. And the characters are totally super likable.
Yeah.
And they're so free of worry, and it's just so gay. It revels in it, and it's just great. So my 3 words for this film are don't be scared.
Good.
Yeah, there you
You
go.
know what I mean?
Oh.
Just fucking watch it.
Give it a chance.
Yeah.
See this shit.
I
Don't be
agree.
scared, homie.
I do
Just a
have
tip.
to say, though, if you are going to watch it, like if you're listening and you haven't seen it already for some reason, watch it with a group of people. Because
Yeah.
one of our members was not here for it, and he ended up watching it, and he hated it and could barely pay attention to it. So I actually think had he been here with the whole group, he would have enjoyed it significantly more.
I think certain comedies it helps. Like you see them in a theater or something with a lot of
Yeah.
people laughing, and it helps to drive a little bit more. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, even like take something like American Pie. I mean, we actually saw that in theaters when it came out, and I'm sure that was more enjoyable than it would have been.
Sure.
Watching it at home alone on
I haven't
DVD
watched it at
when
home.
it came out. You know.
There's a reason I haven't watched
Well,
it.
yeah, exactly, right. I mean,
People
I
less
think
jaded
this
than
is
you.
definitely a fun group movie.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it really was. It really was. And, occasionally those do come along here, and they're always fun, and I think they do sort of help to kind of elevate, if not the film itself, at least the experience,
Yeah.
and that can be almost as valuable, you know. So, yeah, but also, too, if you're puritanical about stuff, it is pretty raw.
Yeah. No, that's why I was like saying in my review. I mean, if you got if you think you might be offended by this stuff, you probably will be offended
If
by
you
this
really
movie.
hate gay people,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
don't watch
Yeah,
it.
because there's really no shame at all, and it really is jubilant in that
Yeah.
that spirit. It is very very pervasive.
It really
throughout the
revels in
film.
its gayness.
It does, and it that made it more fun. It felt like. I don't know, because like I said, how many movies do you see with especially big Hollywood movies with gay characters?
Brokeback Mountain.
Well, that's it, and they're like these, these
Too
tragedies.
dramatic.
They're milk, they're
Yeah.
Brokeback Mountain. They're, or even something like I Love You, Philip Morris, which we actually had a lot of fun with, which was very funny, but still was
Wasn't
sort
very
of
popular,
heavy.
though, was it?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and I felt there was still played as if there's supposed to be some comedy to the fact these guys are gay.
Yeah.
Whereas, with this movie, it's just
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
There was
how
almost like
everybody
saying,
is.
like, "Hey, look at these gay guys; they're
Right,
fine,"
it's-
or
yeah.
something. Whereas this is just it's such a different kind of vibe because it's not trying to point a finger at the audience and say, have you thought about what you think about gays today or something?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It asks you to come in and have a good time, and that's totally super fun. So let's get if there's any dank nugs. For this film,
there's-
John, let's blaze them up.
there's not too much on this movie. It didn't set the nug world on fire. Todd Stevens' previous works have both revolved around gay teens, or all revolved around gay teens.
Hey, don't you like that band, the Gay Teens?
I love the 18s.
like works like Edge of 17 and Gypsy 83.
Okay.
This film was a result of Stevens' difficulty in securing distribution to Gypsy 83 because the film was, quote, not gay enough. Stevens said,
What does that mean?
I was really angry when I wrote it, very frustrated. Another gay movie was what came out. So I guess he felt that
That's
He
something-
went over.
He went
to
overboard,
make
right.
up for
That
it.
actually is something that I did want to talk about when we get past the nugs. That's interesting. That will come up.
Okay.
yeah, so he
That is
basically went on his way to write
interesting to find out.
the gayest movie of all time. And a little bit of trivia from IMDb. Director says, Todd Stevens said that on the DVD commentary he used Kodak film up until the point when the boys lose their virginity, after which he switched to Fujifilm to portray a switch to reality.
That's interesting. I wonder what qualities Fuji has that Kodak doesn't, or what qualities they have that are different that he
Rainbow
thought
vision,
would.
I think.
I don't know. I think I didn't shoot with Fujifilm.
It's got rainbow vision.
Does it?
Yeah.
Dr. Malice, does it have it? Does it Fuji? It has rainbow vision.
See.
Okay.
Confirmed
Okay.
Rainbow
Well,
Vision.
Oh, well, hey, rainbow. How appropriate.
And this film was shot in 16 days.
Oh, wow.
I can't imagine. I mean, it would be too arduous.
It doesn't
a shoot.
seem like, not a lot of special effects or anything.
So, okay, well, yeah. So I guess we could start off by talking about that. I mean, I think that the majority of us here are pretty desensitized to
Yes.
stuff. I mean, most of us have, we've paid our dues on the internet, and so we've seen some shit to quote the
Jason
meme.
Land is our friend.
Yeah,
that's
and
true.
actually, it's a real bummer that he's not on this podcast
It
too,
is.
because he's the only one of us, as far as I know, that actually has fucked guys and stuff. So
can actually speak.
No, I know.
On
I
the
would,
real truth.
right. I would love to get
Yeah.
that perspective.
Well,
but
Jason is dead to us.
yeah, well, at least this week. But I guess, how provocative is this film? Like, really, was there a point, something in particular in the film where you felt that, like, okay, like, this is almost too much, like, even for me? Or did you at any point articulate to yourself, this feels like it's because it we talk about, like, reveling in its gayness, but for people for whom it's, like, offensive, it might be really super provocative.
I think if you're gonna be offended by it, you're gonna figure it out the first fucking scene where he like pulls his mattress aside and there's like an eggplant, a cucumber, carrots, spaghetti fucking squash.
Yeah, like the biggest one you've ever seen.
Yeah. Like I don't, because getting offended by something like that is just so far past me. I'm like,
Sure.
where would you get
It's hard
offended?
to know. Like, it would seem like if you were the kind of person going to be offended by this movie, you wouldn't watch a movie
In
even
the
called
first-
Well,
another
yeah,
gay movie.
but I mean, like, hearing that bit of that little nugget of trivia there, sort of makes me think, like, thinking back on it, like, I can totally see that, because, like I said, to a group who was sort of less hip, I guess, it wouldn't be funny. And it would be, like, offensive and shocking. And you know what I mean? And it would really push people to, like, well, motherfuckers rented...
If we got all of our grandmas in the
what
same
I'm
room
saying.
and made them watch it.
When motherfuckers rented Bruno, they brought it back. And I go, did you like it? And they go, I didn't finish it.
Yeah.
And when they told me that, I knew exactly what part they stopped at.
The gay butt parts.
The penis.
The dick talking to you
Singing.
part.
Oh.
Yeah. Because for some reason, guys are put off by that, or some guys are.
When
Yeah,
I was
my mom
69,
hated
and
Bruno.
I look away. It's really gross, man.
But did anybody else
the
feel
hair.
did anybody else feel the anger on behalf of the screenwriter, sort of in there, at just sort
it
of
is
how
furious.
in your face it was?
Yeah.
I thought it
Well,
was
I
awful.
think, like, I mean, not that I felt it as anger, but I mean, the fact that we realized that he crafted a world where, like, it seemed like basically almost 100% of the population was gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Makes sense.
like I said, it was a very, very gay movie because it didn't really feel like it took place even in the real world. Like, he created some kind of
This
gay world,
hyper-reality.
right, where this movie takes place. So, I mean, I didn't pick up on that, and I didn't pick up on the rage behind that.
Right.
But I did pick up the fact that obviously it was a deliberate kind of, like, there was an episode of Sliders where they went to a planet where, like, the females were, like, the dominant, like, gender, and males were, like, the submissive gender.
Right.
And, like, how it flips up everything. Like, advertising is different.
Yeah.
And, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the way people walk down the street is different. The way people interact with each other, the way people dress, everything. And so, I mean, this is like, it is a deliberate thought that he almost went into, to creating, like, an alternate gay verse.
Right.
And you do feel that. But that's not offensive. The only really parts that are, I would think, be offensive would just be the sex parts.
Yeah.
And just because there's a lot of naked guys kind of, like, humping each other. I mean, you don't see a lot of actual penis, of course. You do see some penis, but...
I got something I want to ask you guys. Does it offend you, the age difference between some, like, Twinkerbell and what's his face?
And Grandpa?
Like,
Yeah, and Grandpa.
Not in the slightest.
Now, what if
No.
it was a girl, like, fresh out of high school and the same? I mean, just the same
No.
dude, even like.
Not me.
No, but to society
by
on some
society,
level,
I
yeah.
think
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like we've talked
Society.
about how, like, if a 30-year-old teacher has sex with a 13-year-old student, she's female, he's male.
Right.
Everybody's like all patting that kid on the back, and, like, she gets a slap on the wrist. But if you
it's
flip
a
the
dude,
genders,
like, he's
he would
going
be
there,
getting
yeah.
he would be getting sent to jail. He'd be
Right.
getting crucified in the media. He would be a monster.
Like, guys are on
and
their own,
nobody
man.
would be
We don't
patting anybody
care.
on the back in that
Like,
situation.
once you're fucking not like a child, like a toddler, and you're a guy, like,
Well, for
society's
me-
like, oh, you take care of yourself, bud.
For me, I think that the it's interesting because it is a question of morality, really, and I think that for me, I look at it like, for me, I understand why there are laws in place to protect children, and so once someone is an adult, whatever choice they want to make, that's their fucking choice. You know what I mean? So like, because I've seen like a lot of hate on like Facebook comment threads and stuff for sort of these, what are they, May, December relationships, where you've got a dude who is like way older. And it tends to work the same way. When it's an older dude and a younger girl, it's like, ooh, it's creepy, it's gross. But like when it's an older woman and it's a younger dude, it's like, oh, you go, girl, kind of thing, right?
It's true. Yeah.
Robin the Cradle, I think so.
Right. And for me, I unless somebody's actually being harmed, I think either one is totally fine. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if you're 18 and 1 hour and you want to fuck somebody that's 101.
Yeah,
right. I mean,
whether you're a guy or a girl.
If everybody's
or
a legal
guys,
ideally, the laws are there so people don't get hurt, and
Right.
it helps
That's
law
it.
enforcement not have to sort out and separate and
Right.
go.
Once people are all of consenting age, it really shouldn't matter.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But
saying.
it's funny too. It's almost like the teacher thing. Like if an older woman likes younger guys, she's a cougar.
Right.
If an older guy likes younger girls, he's a pedophile.
Right. Well,
Or a creep, at least.
But I think the thing that people, because everybody in this country wants to fucking have some say in somebody else's sexuality, and that kind of bugs me. Like this idea that if somebody is that even if somebody isn't being harmed, one person should be able to sit in judgment over what another person does.
Right.
Like so, because I think that's gross. Like everybody should think that's gross or something, but to the other person, it might be the thing they love. So
that's an interesting conversation though, because somebody's guaranteed to be right, and let me explain. Somebody's guaranteed to be right because somebody has probably by accident stumbled upon what's best for society as a group,
Sure.
or just as like a little family structure or whatever, and it'll be more successful. So. I'm just a counter argument. Somebody's going to be right.
What I'm saying is sexuality is so inherently personal to everybody individually that whoever is throwing stones has just as many bizarre peccadillos as the person they're throwing stones at.
Sure.
It just so happens that the person who's getting the stones thrown at them had theirs exposed.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, as long as nobody's being hurt. Because you know what I mean, like take the relationship between Grandpa and the younger guy, the Paul Lynde guy,
Right.
the Paul Lynde syndrome guy. I mean, he was way into it. You know what I mean? And to a lot of people, they'd be like, "Ooh, like I'd never fuck an old man." But to this guy, you know what I mean? So who are we to say until somebody else is being hurt or harmed?
Right.
You know what I mean? I think people should just, hey, even if I don't like it.
Well, it's something too.
What, you
People
do in your
always
bedroom?
talk shit until it happens to them. Like you might judge other people's relationships, but would you let it get in your way if you met somebody who was younger or older that you were into?
Right.
Most people wouldn't. It's easy for them to point the finger, but if the shoe was on their own foot, then all of a sudden it'd be fine. So a lot of people are.
Plus, who are you to deny it? What if you were Grandpa's, fucking wet dream, and it's like no skin off your shoulder? Like let him fuck, dude.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's I mean,
people are way too uptight about it.
I know. People really have an interest in what other people do, particularly when it comes to their morality and their sexuality, and I think it's not. I don't know. People should just keep to them.
No, I know for real. I
find their own business.
I find myself sometimes like thinking like celebrities or whatever. I'm like, oh, I wonder if he's gay, and then I'm like, why would I?
Why do you even care?
Like, why would I care? First of all, the only one I should be caring about is a woman
that
she's interested in me,
right.
and none of the celebrities are.
Well, yeah,
so.
that's it. And I think we're raised to care somehow.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is kind of interesting, I guess. I mean, it does sort of affect some stuff because I think, we could admit that like it might be tough. Like now, what? Okay, like the characters in this movie. Let's presume this was a real world we could actually go hang out in. Like that might be fun for a night. But could any of us really hang out with these dudes? You know what I mean?
Probably too gay.
And even that's what I'm saying. Like, does that not kind of inform the stuff that you do, the stuff that you're into on some level? And would that not? Would our respective sexualities not sort of set us at odds, kind of whether we wanted them to or not?
Yeah, it shouldn't. I mean, it really shouldn't.
Well, I don't mean like that you would hate somebody, but what I mean is, would you want to hang out like that every day? Like
I'm an expert at dosing right up to the limit, so.
But it's also kind of like. I mean, obviously this movie is exaggerated as far as these are the fulfilling all the gay stereotypes, and I'm sure there are plenty of gay people out there that don't just do gay stuff all day, every day.
Sure.
God damn that movie.
But then, I mean, like any culture, I mean, there's as long as there aren't gay bars, and I mean, like we're talking about, I mean, it's Pride this weekend. I mean, that's a whole celebration of the gay culture and the gay lifestyle. So there is a segment where it is sort of separated. There is like gay society and kind of straight society, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
I mean, it kind of just sort of is.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I imagine it'd be a little weird if guys were trying to fuck. Like if you were like hanging out, if like all your
that's
friends
what
were
I'm
gay,
saying. That would be a totally
and
weird
you'd just be hanging out, and then
you.
all of a sudden you'd realize that because it is different. If you're in a room full of single women, it's different than in a room full of
let's say you were a straight guy and you had like a gay buddy, right?
Yeah.
And then you and him, like, we're gonna hang out Friday night. You took him to like a straight bar. You took him to Acapulco, and you guys had a couple margaritas. He's not gonna have necessarily women trying to have sex with him all day,
right?
But then if you went to his bar the next week as a gay bar, the fact that you might go, then you might have to deal with guys come up just because you're in there, assuming that you're gay because you're in a gay bar.
And it's not like, I mean, big deal. Like I've been
matter,
I've been here a few times, and it's always been great.
It would just be a weird dynamic.
It would just I could see it being kind of weird.
That's what I'm saying. If you're not sort of on that side of the fence, I think it would be a weird thing.
Yeah, for sure. It might make you
not that you couldn't get used to it, but I think it wouldn't be your natural inclination. You know what I mean?
No, it would. I think it absolutely would, and you'd have to overcome it.
Yeah. But that being said, like these guys, it's like you felt like you were hanging out with them, like you were part of the group, and that was like, totally what was fun about it. That also I had written down here is America's religious backdrop the reason gay stuff can be so shocking. I mean, is that why, like, inherently, like, because even like you see two guys kiss. Because it's provocative to people, so it's the kind of thing you don't see a lot. Unless you are hanging out with gay people, or you know what I mean. Like, but in most like mainstream television or cinema, even if they're a gay, like you don't see gay dudes making out all the time.
Well, this country, because of its kind of, I guess, Puritan roots, is the problem with all sexuality.
Yeah,
I mean, like I was saying,
with titties. Yeah.
Even if you like, let's say just how this movie was a gay version of American Pie. If you put this movie through a machine that turned it back into a straight movie, there was way more kind of nudity in this movie than there was in the straight movie. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, even like if I took this movie and filmed this script, but just made every other guy a girl, it would still be a very provocative, very sexual movie that you'd probably have a hard time getting in theaters, not getting NC-17.
It'd probably be terrible too.
So it's like, well, it probably would be, because it wouldn't be funny. All the jokes would disappear.
Yeah.
So I think this country has a problem, at least in this media, with like all sexuality, and then I guess the more
it wants to sell sex while condemning it.
And the more kind of, I guess, divergent from the norm the sexuality would be, then the more taboo it's going to seem. And obviously homosexuality is divergent from what is considered to be quote unquote the norm, so
taboo.
People are going to be more offended by like in theory, if you're taking this to the MPAA, if you're going to have a scene where a guy kisses a girl, they're already going to be like raising their eyebrows. But if it's a guy kissing a guy,
it's
forget
gonna
about
go,
it. Right.
You're going from a PG-13 to an X.
So it's like, so any sexuality is already going to make them start scratching their chins, but then if you go gay, forget about it.
But the MPAA, that's a whole another argument.
Oh,
was
not logic-based.
There was that, did Kirby Dick did it, I think. This film is not yet rated.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful documentary on the MPAA and how their process works, and quite maddening at times, honestly, because
it's a clusterfuck.
It's like
Kirby Dick.
It's kind of like the TPP, like it like all happens like behind closed doors, and you just sort of
councils of
small
councils.
You don't know how people get in. You don't know what's going on. So but I guess on the plus side, I guess the upshot too, if it's society's relative puritanicalism that makes this stuff more shocking than I guess it would be if it was straight stuff. I think that enhances the comedy, certainly. I think that especially, shock comedy has been a thing, for a long time.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
Recently with, shit like, The Hangover, we were just talking about today, and like Jackass and Sacha Baron Cohen. It seems like the shock comedy is kind of a thing today.
Well, even it's funny because even like American Pie, which might have been sort of kicked off the new era of shock comedy. If you think about things that were in that movie when it was new, because it was actually a long time ago now. I mean, there's some pretty like shocking stuff at the time.
Yeah.
Kind of envelope pushing for when it came out.
Yeah, and I think that oh my God, I can't believe I heard that, or I can't believe I'm seeing this, that
Yeah.
you maybe laugh harder. So
sure.
I think if you're shooting a comedy, I think dealing in taboo subjects, could there be more low-hanging fruit?
Yeah, well, that's
Could there be lower
Yeah.
hanging fruit? I mean,
you want to get a reaction, right? So,
Yeah, it really is because you have to keep upping it, right? As
well, that's it.
society comes
It's like a treatment for fleas or for gonorrhea. Like it keeps getting each time you have that shock thing, break down those barriers to where this is normal now. You got to up it again to get to something that's shocking,
along.
and pretty soon it's going to be just like the Jane's Addiction record.
How does that relate to fleas and gonorrhea?
Well, they're on their last cure for gonorrhea.
It's like
and fleas are
I
almost
see.
pretty much. You can pretty much shove your collars and your advantage up your ass.
Oh no shit.
They're almost done with that.
Super
yeah,
fleas.
yeah.
Holy
Super
shit!
fleas.
I didn't know either one of those. Well, I did know the gonorrhea thing. I guess.
Bogus.
Fucking antibiotic.
Yeah,
bogus.
they say
Superbugs.
there's some states that are already outlawing antibiotic hand soap because it's making superbugs.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
yeah. It's a fucking scary time to be alive, dude.
We're goners.
Big time.
To
Fuck,
to
dude.
Mars.
Fuck that. It's gonna be just, dude. I'm telling you, humanity. Fuck this.
Eh,
All right. Well, on that happy
who
note,
cares?
who cares?
We had some fun.
Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about another gay movie?
Well, Land wasn't here. I was kind of asked. It seemed like there's a stigma in the gay community between bottoming and being on the top for being gay. And I thought it was funny that at the beginning when they asked, like, when the dude was like kind of doing their profiles, none
Yeah.
of them said they would bottom, but then in the end they all bottomed.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's some kind of a commentary there, but not gay myself, I can't exactly say what it is.
Perhaps.
But I remember we were watching an
Yeah,
episode of the
I wish
Howard
we had
Stern
a-
show and had a bunch of gay guys in because George Takei was going to judge their
Their
dongs.
dicks, yeah.
And when Howard
Yeah.
Stern was interviewing them, he asked if any of them like was a bottom. And not only did they all deny it, but a couple of them quite like vehemently.
Yeah.
Like as if like, whoa, hey, I'm gay, but I don't take it up the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it was sort of weird where it seems like as if there's almost a stigma in the gay community between
Oh,
being
my.
really gay, like.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I don't know what that is. It's just something I've noticed between just this and that Howard Stern interview.
Yeah.
Is that it seems as if there's like it's even amongst the gay community, if you bottom, you're even gay to gay guys.
Even if you bottom from the top,
You need bottom from the top, I guess. Doesn't get you
Or-
any extra points.
can you power bottom from the top?
Is topping like a bottom?
You need, I think you need like a ladder or something for
Jeez,
that.
man, Land, you fucked us.
That's what I'm saying. We
Yeah,
don't.
Lamb,
Nobody,
get
no
your fucking-
expert here to
man.
get a real opinion. Unfortunately,
Jesus.
What is going
we
on?
just gotta wonder.
Are there
Can
power
we
tops?
conference call him right now?
Is there power tops?
I don't know. I wouldn't want to converse. I don't know. What we're gonna
That
interrupt.
seems-
Can you top from the bottom?
Power top
Well,
seems
if you
like
can
it might be
bottom-
a little bit too much, you know? Like,
I mean,
you're already topping.
if you can bottom from the top, you could certainly top from the bottom. I would imagine.
I would think.
but I don't know. Power top sounds kind of abusive.
Man, straight sex seems so much more simple now.
Yeah. No, really. You know what? That's interesting. Like, yeah, it's because like it
Like, we
seems
can
like
do these things.
there's sort of a
But-
a nonverbal sort of agreement
just-
that's already been established in society. I've never had any. Well, I don't know. Maybe I've had some bizarre encounters.
You already got tab A, you got slot B.
But
hey,
it's like when you're kind of like, I imagine if you're two guys, it's kind of like, okay, well, I mean, at
Complicated
least when you're
stuff.
new to it, you're probably like, okay, what do we do here? Like,
I
how are
always
we-
wondered
like,
if you could
are
first
always
go
one
like-
guy has previous
do
experience.
you paper rock scissors?
I always
or-
wanted to see somebody go butt to butt, right? Like butt twisted this way, and then like so they could each put like a dick in a butt. Does that work? Has anybody ever done that?
How many guys are you talking about?
No, just two guys.
I think the balls would get in the way.
Oh,
Wait a
you're
minute. You
smashing
want to put
balls.
two guys butt to butt and have them tuck their cocks between their legs
But-
and up into each other's butts?
but off.
But then one guy's on his head
offset.
too.
Wait, what?
So one guy's like upside down, right?
Okay, so legs spread totally out and
No,
the
there you go.
taints
Back to
together.
back.
That well,
One guy upside down, dicks tucked between their
Jesus.
butts.
you'd
Balls
have to have
apparently
a wheelchair for
non-existent.
that.
Fucking
though.
schematic.
I think if
I
you used a
don't-
wheelchair, you could go back and
I-
no.
We need some blueprints and
Yeah, I would need
A
a
slide
visual aid.
rule.
I'm getting lost here.
Basically, just take
John,
your
go get a
fingers,
couple of
make
those
two V's and
Captain
turn them
Picard
sideways.
dolls. we'll make two Captain Picards. Fucking
We'll
do
make
what Chris.
advanced
we'll make two
scissoring, I
Captain
think.
Picards scissor each other until we get this figured out.
Jason.
Because just like every other American household, we have multiple Captain Picard dolls
Who doesn't?
sitting around.
And look, we'll be here all night till we figure this out.
You better get Stretch Armstrong for this one.
Order some
Actually-
Chinese food.
Actually, it's funny because now that I think about it, we do have here in the Cinemarijuana Theatre a number of dolls, a.k.a. 12-inch action figures.
Well, the ones with clothes, I think you can call dolls.
Okay, they're dolls, but they're
So there's only actually the small
is that
Captain Picard is an action figure. The rest are dolls.
every
Is that the
one
difference?
we own is an old man.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
Captain
They're all old white guys.
Captain Picard, Grand Moff Tarkin, Emperor Palpatine, Dr. Zaius. What?
It's a bunch of old white guys. Bunch of old white British guys.
No wonder we watch so many old movies, dude. We're like an episode of Vicious.
Could you imagine if do you think Barbie would have been as popular if Barbie was like an old white British guy?
That would be a fun version.
We know how Grandpa likes it.
That would be. Damn it! I wish I had fucking put that drop for today. Shit.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good. You have it.
I have it. I thought it was in this. That's what I was trying to get to earlier. I thought I had it in this fucking folder,
Just the way your grandpa likes it.
but I
that's it,
don't
just the
because
way
I have it
Grandpa
on that
likes it.
fucking PC because I had to rip it off of
bye.
the fucking Netflix. So. All right. Well, on that note, yeah.
Yeah,
Is they gonna fucking wrap it up for us?
I think
with
the
this
wheels
shit?
have fully come off. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
they-
good time to end it.
they were off.
I think
ago.
it's. I think that tends to happen quite naturally, and I think that's sort of our indicator. It's like when it's time to put the baby to bed because it doesn't stop fucking crying. All right. Well, hey, great pick. Great
Yeah.
pick, Little Milk.
Yeah.
You may have a contender for number one.
I doubt that.
Man, I don't know. We
Just
thought
keep
I
getting
Love You,
better.
Philip Morris was on top, but
Maybe
hey,
most surprising.
I don't know. We all seem to think
Connie was shooting for the middle and he succeeded, so he's going to be no
he's
contention.
already out
one's
on
gonna top?
purpose.
What did he
Gonna
pick?
bottom.
Insideman. How funny
Oh,
that he would
nice.
pick Inside Man, and we just watched this movie that was
Yeah.
all about being inside men.
and the last one.
Yeah.
And that dude, an unintentional theme has
I
emerged.
guess this isn't a free for all anymore.
My goodness. All right. Well, got another one today, so we're gonna fuck off and watch that now. So we'll be back with more
Yeah.
review analysis of whatever we see.
Go visit lickmyhairycherry.com.
There you go.
Dingle cherries.
You're here for his dingle cherries. For the Cinemarijuana Theater, I'm Ed.
I'm Kenzie.
I'm John.
I'm Chris.
We'll be back next week with more. Thanks for tuning in.